So in this lesson, we also want to be able to expand a binomial. And so we want to remember that that exponent of 3 is just telling us that we want to multiply that quantity x plus 4 by itself 3 times. So we can only multiply two things together at once. So what we'll start with is just going ahead and multiplying the first x plus 4 by the second x plus 4. So again, we've just got to distribute the x to each of the things in the second binomial. So x times x is x to the 2. And then multiply the x by the 4 as well, and we get 4x. Now distribute the 4, and we get 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 4 is 16. We notice that these are like terms because they have an x to the first power. So we can combine them by just adding their coefficients. So 4x plus 4x is 8x. So we end up with x squared plus 8x plus 16. Now we have to multiply that by the remaining x plus 4. And I'm going to show you another way to picture this. We're going to take this x plus 4 that's remaining, and we're going to put it down the side here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little rectangle, separate out the parts to each of my polynomials. So I've got an x squared that needs to be separated from an 8x, and an 8x that needs to be separated from a 16. And then for the green polynomial, I have an x that needs to be separated from the 4. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking my my polynomials into the pieces that need to be multiplied together. There are 6 things that now I see need to be multiplied together. What I need to do is find each of those 6 things by finding the area of each of those little rectangles. I find area by multiplying length times width. So for this first upper left-hand box, the length and width are x and x squared. So when I multiply x to the 1 by x to the 2, I get x to the 3. In the top middle rectangle, the length and width are x to the 1 and 8x to the 1. So when I multiply x to the 1 by 8x to the 1, I get 8x to the 2. And the third rectangle on top has a length and width of x and 16. So when I multiply x by 16, I get 16x. Now I'm going to do the same for the second row of rectangles. But now the length and width, now I don't have an x, but I have a 4. So for the lower left, I've got a 4 and an x squared. When I multiply those, I get 4x squared. The middle, I have 4 times 8x, which is 32x. And the last, I have 4 times 16, which is 64. So now when I look, I've got 6 pieces. I've distributed everything in the x squared plus 8x plus 16 to everything in the x and the 4. So now I look for like terms. Well, these are like terms. They'll be able to be put together because they both have an x to the first power. And these are like terms. They'll be able to be put together because they both have an x squared. So my final answer will be, I have only one x cubed, nothing to combine with it. 4x squared and 8x squared add up to 12x squared. 32x and 16x add up to 48x. And then the 64 is all by itself. So that is the expansion of x plus 4 quantity cubed.